AL MVP, Ohtani versus the field. Now, maybe last week was the week to get in on the field because now it's Ohtani was, I think, minus 1,400. Now it's minus 750. But with this Mike Trout injury, I just think now he's getting traded. Like, you can get any other player at plus 500 for American League MVP. Now, granted, if he gets traded in the American League, you're screwed. But it doesn't sound like
traded.
I think Ohtani might get traded now. I think they're definitely not re-signing him. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think they know he's leaving, so get something.
That's interesting. That's why you think the numbers are still astronomical, but
yes.
they were bigger a week ago.
Yeah.
You think it has to do with Trout going down?
I think Trout getting injured creates a situation where they're going to fall out of it, and now it opens the door for him to be moved. I think it's more likely he's traded now than it was a week ago.
I just can't see him getting traded. I can't. You don't trade that away. In baseball history, normally that guy doesn't. You make all the chances in your world to try to keep him, right?
But what happens when he just leaves?
Then you just lose out. That's normally what happens.
Do you have, like, if you're gonna fall out of it, if you're the Angels, things fall apart because Mike Trout's gone now. If you plan on offering him the $700 million or whatever the hell it is you're gonna end up paying him, why not just offer it to him in the offseason when he's a free agent?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's an impossible trade.
Like,
if for a team, you're going to trade away basically your entire farm system for a guy that's potentially going to be there for a month and a half, 2 months. There's no way you make that trade. And if you're a team that's actually in the sweepstakes like the Mets, why would I give up anything if I think he's going to come here next year? Like, I feel like he's an impossible trade. Again, it's AL MVP, Ohtani, minus 750, the field plus 500.
Plus 500 on the idea that he gets traded to the Dodgers, basically.
Yeah.
I think I would. And I don't want to try to, like, you look at because it's just the regular AL MVP list. Like, Corey Seager is second, plus 1,700. Wander Franco, 3,000. Arozarena, 3,000. I don't want to try to cherry pick and figure it out. I'd rather just take the field at 500.
Last week, you and Jake said a meteor. That was your words. A meteor would have to hit him and the entire country in order for him not to win MVP, and now you're picking the field. That's how much you've changed in a week because of an injury.
Because
a Trout injury.
I think it's possible he gets traded. I think it wasn't a possibility while they were in it, and now it's Ohtani versus, like, it's 1 versus 9 now.
Here's a question. If he gets traded to the AL, can he still win the MVP?
Yeah. Does
he, like...
I believe,
you can still win the MVP if you get traded to the same...
Yeah.
Oh.
He's still eligible then.
Then there's no way.
No.
I think they'll trade him to the NL, but still, there's no way.
There's
no way I'm picking the field, and I'm like, oh, even if this guy gets traded, let's say he gets traded to, I don't know, somebody in the West with the Yankees, he can still win it? No. Now, Rick, value-wise, do you see any good future values in the betting who's going to win a conference or who's going to win an entire thing of teams that aren't necessarily the Nuggets or Celtics who are at the very top, but a team that you think may jump because of a potential trade or just being better than people think they're going to be, et cetera, et cetera? What do you see in the futures market when it comes to the NBA?
In markets that are available right now, it's a little bit of a stretch just because we need to know how the Harden and Lillard situations resolve. I do like what Cleveland did. I was kind of probably too much in on Cleveland last year. I mean, in the regular season, that turned out well, but I had them minus 1.5 games against the Knicks, and that blew up in my face spectacularly. But I just think losing a little bit on defense from Okoro, but upgrading the shooting to the extent that you do with Max Strus, I think helps out a lot. The fact that he's overpaid just for the fact that I'm winning doesn't really matter right now. Fine, whatever. Like, they upgraded that position so significantly, it should help the spacing for the guards to be able to drive a little bit better. Maybe just creates a little bit more space with Mobley and Allen, neither of them really being much of a shooter. So if those two guys are going to be operating inside the arc and maybe be able to have some high-low action, some two-man game between them, I think that definitely helps maximize the space that they're going to have. So in the East, I know at BetMGM listed on the screen, 10-1 to win the East. I think that's aggressive, but of what's listed right now, I think that's something that I like. One that I can do pretty quick is Defensive Player of the Year. It's very simple. The last 12 years, the winner has come from the first or second ranked defense on cleaning the glass. And in the last 20 years, only twice has the winner come from a non-top 3 defensive team. It was Tyson Chandler with the Knicks when they had just basically Tyson being the only back line of defense, and Marcus Camby with the Nuggets in 2007. Other than that, it's been top 3 defenses, and in the last 12 years, it has been guys that are on top 2 defenses. So with it being so limited, the market is pretty good looking at who the favorites are, and Jaren Jackson, Evan Mobley, Bam, Giannis, Anthony Davis. If you want to go a little further down the board, I don't know that Utah's defense can get top 2, but Walker Kessler gets a lot of pub. And then Indiana's going to play so fast, I don't think their defense can, but Miles Turner is a really good defensive player, and he's at 50-1. There might be a little bit of value on that at some point. So just finding those parameters. And the other one that I have that I really like is being able to narrow down most improved player, because I think the term can be so nebulous. No number 1 pick has ever won. Yet every year when you look at the preseason odds, there's number 1 picks all over the place. No second-year player has won in the last 12 years. It's been mostly third and fourth-year players. And in the last 12 years, 9 of the 12 times, the winner has been from a team that's in the top 6 seeds. So if you really start to narrow that down, I've got a couple like pools of where people are in ranges in the odds board that I like your 20-1 range, having guys like Scotty Barnes, Evan Mobley, Josh Giddey makes some sense. A guy like Franz Wagner, I believe, is 40-1. If Orlando takes us another step forward, people will be thinking of Paolo, but I think Franz Wagner could really be good in that spot. And my favorite one, that's a long shot. It probably takes an injury, but it's on a team where they always have injuries. Trey Murphy is really good in New Orleans. If Ingram or Zion go down and he is able to get the proper amount of volume, I think he could make that jump into that like low 20s, be a first-time All-Star, which is what it takes really to be in that spot. Is 8 of the last 12 have been first-time All-Stars in the year they win Most Improved Player. So Trey Murphy is 80-1. So that's a guy that I just took a stab at, nothing big, but I think that's a guy who fits a lot of the parameters. If that team can be good, and if he's that good, the team will probably be good, that could really make a leap at a big number.